Hello and welcome to Let's Challenge, and today is actually the finale of the Leather Whip Challenge for Super Castlevania 4. We're climbing down this tower here. I guess would be from the top of the clock tower, and we're gonna go across the crumbling bridge to get to Dracula's tower. And then once we've climbed that, we can finally fight Dracula and all his friends. We actually have 3 bosses before you even get to fight Dracula. But the ending here has a lot of cool atmospheric effects, like the bridge that crumbles the bats and stuff, that makes the ending a lot more grand, I think. It is one of my favorite parts of Castlevania 4. There's this little atmospheric type stuff, especially here in the end. And here we come to the misty area, the other tower that we're climbing up to get to Dracula. And the worst enemy here is really the stairs, because at this point they actually make you land on stairs while jumping. And before this, I don't think you ever actually had to do that. It's not too bad. You just actually have to hold up while you're jumping. It shouldn't be a problem, but sometimes it doesn't always work well. Like if you don't jump high enough, you'll miss the stairs badly, or if you're just not holding up, it could mess you up. And of course the stairs crumble away, so you only got one shot at it because you can't go back down. It's just a pit below you. And also in this area we have some new enemies, including those stones that break apart, and then the headless guys. I'm not sure what the headless guys really are, but I've always thought they were maybe pirates, because they have a almost pirate-like sword. And they're also in Castlevania 3, and in Castlevania 3 they are actually on a ghost ship, so that's why it seems like they could be pirates. Although maybe they're not supposed to be pirates here. And maybe they're more like just Dracula's elite guards. But anyways, Castlevania is known for having tons of enemies, and even in the last stage you'll throw some new guys at you sometimes. And we're actually nearing the top of this tower, so we can start fighting off the bad guys. And one nice thing about this part is you have unlimited continues on each boss, so if you do beat a boss, you'll never have to beat him again, because it lets you just continue on the next boss. So that's a good thing, since we're doing this Leather Whip challenge and bosses have a lot more health. Well, I guess they don't have more health, they just require more hits since you do less damage. Either way, it's kind of some long battles here. And this first guy, I guess is Sloga. I never remember the second guy's name, but they're kind of partners in most games. They always come in pairs. And the main thing about this battle is it's very repetitive. Like most of the battles are, but this one I think is kind of the worst offender. And for his first form I don't have much trouble with it. As long as you're kneeling kind of close to him, he can't hit you. But his second form, as soon as his trident breaks, always gives you some trouble, because he likes to attack you right away, and it's really hard to dodge. About the only thing you can do, I think, is to jump over it while you're running away from him. And I messed that up a lot, and I'm actually down to like 1 hit left, I think, because he actually got a lot of hits in with his trident. So this is going to be a tough one to get through. Okay, he got me. So we'll have to give this guy a second shot. But like I said, we can try this as many times as I need to. I also like the colors of the sky in the background there. It always looks really nice. And one thing that makes it pretty slow and repetitive is you can really only hit him once, and then he's back up to the ceiling. Also, a little odd thing is, as long as you're kneeling in front of him and kind of close to him, when he brings up his trident, it won't hit you. But if you're standing too far away while you're kneeling, it'll actually hit you. So you end up with this weird kind of thought that somehow standing closer to him makes him unable to hit you. Whereas if he's standing farther away, he can hit you. So just a little odd game thought there. Just a silly game thing, kind of like how meats are hiding in the walls and you decide to eat them and they end up being a good thing. And he's attacking a lot now. I managed to escape at least one of his attacks. As long as he doesn't do that too much, I should have a good chance of winning. Because sometimes you can fight him and only do it like 2 or 3 times. Now he's doing it almost every time. What I mean is attacking before I can even damage him. like the best case scenario is you can hit him before he decides to attack at all. So we're both down to 1 hit though, so that actually, that particular battle, that's how it goes a lot for me. We both go down to 1 more hit. But it's okay on the first boss because you get all of your health back before the second boss. And on this boss though, afterwards you only get 1 piece of meat, so I'll try to take fewer hits. Although I do think this one's actually a little easier than the first one. I guess it's a tiny bit odd, but that's just how it goes sometimes with bosses. And then finally, after this guy, I've never remembered his name, but after this guy we get to fight Death, and he's definitely the toughest boss. Like, I feel he's even tougher than Dracula in this game. Even though the Dracula battle is much longer, Death is still more difficult. And for this guy, once I get past his first form, I actually have a little strategy that should guarantee I don't take any more hits, I think. I wouldn't say it's a 100% guarantee, but it's a pretty good one. And one tricky thing there is when I do use my whip to block his fireballs, I like to stand far away from him, because a lot of times I'll get hit by him afterwards if you're standing too close, and you have to wait a little longer to get the third fireball. Anyways, on the second form, you just stay on the left platform, really, that's all I do. And he almost never hits you. I did take a hit getting up here, but from now on, I don't think I'll take another hit. It's kind of a cheap way to do it, maybe, but why not take the easy way when you can? Kind of like Dark Souls or Demon Souls. When you got an easy way to do things, the game's so hard to take every advantage you can, even if it seems cheap. But I'm probably going to lose to Death at least once now because I've already taken a lot of damage from that boss. Like I said, you only get 1 piece of meat back, so I've almost lost half my health. I think the tricky part about Death is after the first few, I guess, cycles I'll call them, with Death, he likes to just stay in the air a lot, and while he's in the air it's really hard to actually attack him and still defend yourself. If I can defend myself well, I should be fine. That's the tricky part, is just playing defense well, and I'm not doing that right now. I think my timing on the little sights is off. So yeah, but after he does like that swooping attack, that's when it's the easiest to get a lot of hits in. Okay, so let's actually try this again, but as I was saying, with that sweeping attack is, I think, the best time to attack him, but after he does it like maybe 3 or 4 times, he just kind of decides to stop for a while, and then you actually have to kind of attack him in the air while he's still attacking you with the little scythes. And me personally, I only like to attack while he's on the right side. That's what I have no success with. Like, I'll try it here. Oh, I didn't actually hit him, but the idea is to hit the little scythe he throws and hit him at the same time. It's about the only way you can really defend yourself and get a hit in. Okay, now on the second sweep, I can maybe jump over him. That's about the only way to dodge, avoid taking damage. I didn't actually get it that time. At least that's the only way I've really been successful with. It's kind of, you gotta be a little late on your jump. And then get, I guess, kind of lucky on where the scythe goes too. Okay, so now he's not really wanting to come down. I'm still not playing really great defense or anything. Okay, I really like that, because if you do it right, you can get 4 hits in. But I'm not getting that at the moment. I can get a few more, but after this, it should be a long time before he decides to come down again. At least most of the time, that seems to be how he works. I'm going to go ahead and take a hit here, I think, since it's so hard to avoid getting a hit anyways. That way I can just get more hits on him. So I'm down to 1 hit, but there was at least a decent shot if I turn around. I didn't turn around. Okay, yeah, that would have got him if I turned around there. Okay, let's see if I can avoid getting hit this time. So do a kind of late jump, and you can get over him. And I'm off on when I should be swinging. It's actually the scythe on the right that I think is giving me the most trouble right now. well, he's definitely giving me plenty of opportunities to attack back. I'm just playing bad defense. I'll probably also edit this down and do a death counter. So we have my deaths to death counter. I've tried doing a death counter before on like Goat Simulator, but that turned out to be not that interesting because I only died twice. So I don't think a death counter is really very interesting if you only end up like dying 2 times. So he's cooperating me and giving me some good shots at attacking, but I'm not playing defense well. Doing a little better this time. Okay, I am gonna take a hit just so I can get more hits on him. Okay, I jumped early there, but the idea is to hit the scythe and him at the same time. And this should be when, you know, he decides not to swoop down or anything. And this lasts quite a while, so that's why I want to get a couple hits in. Okay, I'd have a chance to kill him right here, so I'm going to go for it since I'm down to 1 health. Alright, and there, we got him finally. I'm not sure how many deaths I got there, I'll have to count it later. But there's quite a few. Okay, but now we finally get to go to Dracula. And we have one more cool effect that goes on here. It's a very little thing, but the torches just light up as you walk. And again, another one of my favorite things is just how much more grand and stuff it makes it feel just by little effects like that. I'm going to look for meat. I think that's the only one here, so I can hopefully get past Dracula's first form, and then something that makes Dracula easy is he actually gives you meat between his forms, his transformations, whatever, as long as you can actually avoid his meatballs. And I would say actually the toughest thing for Dracula, I think, is to avoid his meatballs. And also I believe his first form here is his most difficult. The only way I can really deal with, like, I'm not actually getting any damage on him. I should better start doing that, but okay, what I was trying to explain is when he attacks you with that little ball, it breaks apart when you hit it, and the only way I can get over it without taking damage is to actually jump over it and swing down, because when it breaks into 3 balls, it's not much of a problem because you can just leave your whip kind of out and use it as a shield, but when it breaks into 4, you can't really hit all 4 of them and protect yourself or anything. At least I can't. So I found the only thing I can really do to avoid taking damage from the 4 balls is to just jump over them. But you gotta do swing down to get rid of the ball, because if you only jump over it, the ball will break up like straight up into 3 balls right at you. That's already happened a couple times to me. So that's kind of why you swing down. I think I only need to get 4 hits, 4 bars, with bars down before it starts its next form though. And then I can get my health back. And once I get past... That was a diagonal ball, that's odd. I don't think I've ever seen that, really. But once I get the meatball to the next part of the game, I shouldn't have any more problems. And probably the hardest thing to do is to avoid the crazy random meatballs. It's really luck-based, I think. So I actually got taken down by it. Normally I would say the meatballs being so wild and crazy wouldn't be a problem because they give you health back, but then they actually killed me, so we gotta try this again. But I'm at full health now, so I think Dracula won't be a problem this time. And of course all the nice lightning effects is another cool effect that makes this all a big battle. It's a really good final battle based on not just the battle itself, but the stuff that led up to it and other effects. So that's one thing that's always great about Castlevania. Interesting how you actually get to see Dracula's coffin in the background here, as in a lot of games I don't think you really get to see that. A lot of times he just has a throne or something, but Castlevania 4 is actually his coffin. And I'm thinking maybe it does the same thing in Castlevania 1. As you can see, Dracula's coffin. Let's see, yes, I think I've heard Castlevania 4 is basically a remake of Castlevania 1. And I'd kind of agree with that. There are a ton of similarities. There's a lot of the same bosses, and Dracula is pretty similar. Although his final form is completely different. He doesn't transform into the giant kind of dragon thing like he does in Castlevania 1. So right now I'm only getting these meatballs just to get the health back from the meatballs themselves dealing damage to me. So that's what I was saying, them being so wild and crazy isn't typically a problem because you'll just get health back from them anyways. But it's sometimes a problem when you're already low on health. And then we get the weird kind of Dorito shaped fireball heads. Again, I think his first form was actually the most difficult. Oops. Because it's got the tricky thing where you kind of have to jump and whip down in order to not take damage from the four balls that wake apart. But this, I think if you just take out the fire heads right away and don't let them chase too much and get low to the ground, they're not a problem. Like, I try to take them out about as fast as I can because one of the biggest problem I think is when they start getting low to the ground. And then the final form of Dracula is, I think, even easier than this as long as you're very patient. I'm gonna be patient and basically just hit him once at a time, maybe twice if I'm really lucky. Now, I am so low on health that I am a little worried about his meatballs now, though, getting me. Okay, we're getting pretty close, though. Should be able to get some health back. If it doesn't kill me. Well, we gotta try this again, so I'm gonna cut here. Hello and welcome back. We're almost to the final form of Dracula. He has been giving me a little bit of trouble. And I think Dracula is definitely more difficult. Okay, here we go. But yeah, he's definitely more difficult with the Leather Whip challenge just because the battle goes on for a lot longer. But I think, you know, trying to survive for a long time does make it a more interesting battle. So, as I kind of said before, here I just want to get one hit and then watch where the lightning is going to appear and move. As long as I just keep doing just one hit and then moving, I should be fine on the final form. As long as I don't try to get greedy and start doing 2 hits or something, I should be fine. Sometimes I can get 2 hits if I happen to already be standing in the safe spot, and I notice that. Otherwise, I'm just going to go 1 hit and then make sure I move out of the way. So that was 2 hits there, but this is going fine, as I would expect. The final one really kicks in some great music and has some cool lights going on. So even though the battle, I would say, I think is easy, it still kind of looks cool and makes it exciting anyways, just because of all the effects and music and things that's going on. So it still comes through with a cool finish. And also, Dracula has his weird skull head that always reminds me of the Terminator kind of skull. Alright, so that's it for Dracula. He's down. That's the end of the Leather Whip challenge. And as I don't really have anything to say during the credits, I think some things are better left on their own with no commentary or anything. I'm going to go ahead and say bye now and then let the credits roll on their own. So, happy Halloween and bye-bye!